Reading this. All right, and we do have a LinkedIn live and events training in the modules. However, it is outdated, so it was time to do one again. It's interesting, you know, if you guys don't know, I'm like a LinkedIn nerd and I love looking at all the trends and the things that are going on. And over the next like 6 months, they're going to be unveiling a ton of stuff. So I'm just like kind of bursting with ideas and things that I can show you guys. So I think this is, you know, the start of a lot more things to come. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's about time. I feel like they've been really slow. You know, we heard about, I think, have any of you guys like heard about the audio events forever? Like I have like, oh, they're going to do audio events. They're going to do audio events. And then it took them ages to get them out. So I'm glad they're finally here. We're going to talk about those tonight. We're going to talk about LinkedIn Live tonight. And we're going to talk about events because events kind of make it all come together. And if you're not using events on LinkedIn, you're really missing the mark, like really, really missing the mark. So if you take anything away from this, I hope that you all end up using LinkedIn events, even if you don't use LinkedIn Live or LinkedIn audio, and maybe that's not for you, but use LinkedIn events. We'll talk about how the ways that you can use all three of these different things, how you can use them together. And I did put the link to the workbook in the chat, and I'll post it again just in case some of you guys didn't see it. I did send it in an email too. So let me grab this. Actually, Anne, would you mind reposting the link? Thank you so much. Anne is like my wonderful helper. Okay, so let's get going. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I want you guys to let me know and make sure you guys can all see it when I do share my screen. Because I heard one of the last things that I did that somebody said they couldn't see it when I shared the screen. So make sure that you can see this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Yep. Good. Cool. Great. Okay. So before we talk about LinkedIn Live and events, I think it's really important to go over creator mode again, because LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn audio events, LinkedIn newsletters, the website link in your profile, all these things are hidden behind creator mode. And creator mode is something that LinkedIn is like going full force with. And if you look at it, I want you to, I've done a ton of reading on why LinkedIn is doing things lately. So I want you to kind of look at it from a different perspective. Most of the time when we think about LinkedIn, what do we think about? Like if you aren't an online business owner, what is it a place for typically? Like jobs, right? Resume, hiring, all of that kind of stuff. So creator mode is kind of its answer for entrepreneurs. So I think when you think about that and you think about what their intention is behind it, it makes it a lot more palatable. I know too, a lot of us are hesitant to use it, but what they're trying to do is create a suite of tools for us to use as entrepreneurs to help our businesses grow. So if you think about it that way, it's kind of cool. It's kind of nice, right? So I think we should be taking advantage of this. And the more research I do in creator mode and the more that I see people doing things with creator mode, I'm just kind of a fan of everyone being in creator mode. And I'll talk about why in just a few minutes. So the benefits of using creator mode. So, you know, I have a little visual example down here that we'll kind of go over, but we'll start up here. So you can use hashtags and the topics that you talk about underneath your headline. There's also a follow button. However, the connect button is hidden. If any of you guys didn't know this, your featured section, when you use creator mode, if you guys were on my LinkedIn basics call, we talked about kind of how like it's a stretch for people to scroll all the way down to our featured section. If you use creator mode, they move your featured section up. So that means all of your links that you've hopefully been putting into your featured section are now much more accessible to people, like your book a call link and when all the other things that you're putting in there. So that's kind of a pretty big benefit. Also, the website link in your profile and all of these things that we're talking about here. So let's come down here and then we'll go back to analytics. So the hashtags and the things that you talk about, these are things that you can add when your profile's in creator mode. I think it's really great to tell people what you talk about because, you know, when I go to somebody's profile, even though you might have your headline up about what you do and all of those things, it doesn't really tell me what you're going to be talking about. And for me, somebody who's super busy and doesn't have a lot of time to waste, I need to know what people are about. Like I made the mistake of connecting with a woman yesterday and I was like, gosh, she looks cool. You know, she didn't have her profile in creator mode. And the very next thing after I connected with her, what did she send me? Hey, guess what? You want my new thing? Like this thing that I have? It was, oh my gosh. So she's blocked. But like I really want, you know, to know what people are about before I connect with them. This is where you can put your website link. For those of you that haven't watched LinkedIn Basics, inside of creator mode, you can put a website link here. Gary has his as roles we're hiring for. You could put your website link there. I've seen people put a calendar link there. You could put a link in bio link there if you don't have a website. I mean, really, as a marketer, I think you should rotate these things and see what you're getting the most traction on. But you know, you can put all kinds of things there and test them out. And all of these things at the very top of your profile are things that people don't have to scroll all the way down to see. So the chances for conversion of them actually clicking on it are really good. Again, you have the follow button here, and then also the more button, which hides the connect. But if any of you guys have been on my calls recently, you know that I don't think that hiding the connect button it's not necessarily that bad of a thing, because when people click the button to follow you, you can go screen them. You know, you get a notification that they followed you. Then you can go screen them and kind of see if they're a good match for you and see if they are good for you to connect with, or if there's one, you know, hopefully not one of those people that's just going to immediately send you a message and try to sell to you. So that's my take on it. Creator mode, I think, is becoming more and more appealing to me. And when I see the things that LinkedIn is intending to do with it, it becomes even more appealing. The next thing is creator analytics. And if you've been with me in the academy for a while, you know that, you know, finding analytics without using creator mode, like on posts, it's there. They sure don't make it super easy to find. But if you are in creator mode now, they now show you your impressions, your engagement, trends. You can actually go back and search like how your profile is doing if you want to like search out a certain week or a certain month or like something that you had going on. So I know a lot of you guys are interested in analytics, and if you have your profile in creator mode, analytics are something that LinkedIn is going to be providing more of to you, and it is just rolling out. You guys should start to see how many searches you appear in. A lot of that stuff has been in LinkedIn Premium for a long time, so you haven't had access to that. So having your profile in creator mode is a good thing in that sense. So, and these are your analytics. You can see all of these things right here. And you know, I just expect that to grow as they roll out more things inside of creator mode. So before we get into LinkedIn Live, does anybody have any questions about creator mode? This is where you go to turn it on. This is covered in LinkedIn Basics, but it's under here under resources. You just click on it. You can click the topics that you want to talk about. And this is also where you find out if you have access to live audio or newsletters.
Hey, Jackie, I just want to make sure, and if you said this already, forgive me,
Yeah.
that you said now, if we're in creator mode all the time, Because I'm still building my network, that it's not alerting to every time we make a change to.
No, that is a new thing with LinkedIn. Yeah. So that is actually, that was something that we covered on a different thing. We didn't cover it tonight. But as you make changes to your profile now, LinkedIn is not alerting your network. LinkedIn is only alerting your network to major milestones that you have, like your birthday or a work anniversary or things like that. Now, if you go to update your experience section, yes, they are going to alert people to that because those are like major things to them. The headline, summary, although they're not sending those out anymore.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Linda.
Hey there.
Hey.
So something that came up in our LinkedIn Basics conversation, I just wanted to raise about creator mode. That's the conundrum of creator mode, which is that there's this major confusion around no longer having a connect button if you're trying to build your network.
Yeah.
So you get all of these great things that are all the things that we would all love to have, except the major thing that you shouldn't lose is your connect button. So like, how do you make that trade-off? And you know, if you go into creator mode and set all this stuff up, but then you turn off creator mode, does all of this stuff go away and you just go back to your regular thing, or does any of it stay with you once you build
No, it doesn't stay with you. So my thing is when we're, you know, I guess in the beginning, I can see where you might want to leave creator mode off. However, for the most part, when I am growing my network, I'm growing my network. Like I'm going out to search for people. I'm sending the connect request. It's very strategic, very, you know, like I'm doing it in a very strategic way. So I like when somebody comes back and hits the follow button, because then I go figure out who they are and see if I actually want to connect with them. And so I think it's kind of, I think of it as a screening tool. So that's just kind of the way that I look at it, because I can always go and send someone who follows me a connection request. So
I mean, I guess I feel like it's just, but I feel like unclear in my mind about it, just because sometimes
I get that. I totally get that.
I get all this ridiculous, you know, spam all the time, but then every so often, you know, somebody reaches out with a note that says, hey, you know, working on something like this, your background looks interesting, you know, you want to talk. And I'm like, yes, 100%. You know what I mean? So
I think though that as you're, you know, in the beginning, I can see where you might want to use it. As you grow from a marketing perspective, you have to have your profile in creator mode to be able to take advantage of all of the marketing tools that LinkedIn is offering to you. You would be really amiss not to do that. Like there's just so much opportunity that they're going to be keeping in creator mode that you've got to use it. And who knows, maybe one day they'll open everything up. But I think they like having it kind of behind this little wall now that only certain people know about.
Yeah, like somehow this stuff showed up in my profile about creator mode, but I haven't been putting articles out there or posting. I engage, but I was surprised that it showed up, but it didn't look like it was inviting me to do it. It was just giving me information about it, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, just start without it and then, you know, ease your way into it for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. Lene?
Yeah, I had a question around the hashtags. So when you're trying to decide what hashtags to put, is there like a little cheat on the best ones based on your areas?
So I would use your content pillars. So like the things that you know, when you do the snowflake exercise, when you do all of those things, if you have like your content buckets, those are what I would use for your hashtags.
But I mean, like if I'm doing like leadership, I mean, if you just type leadership, there's like so many different variations of like what it could be, right?
Yep.
So, okay.
I mean, I would try to get as niched as you can. If you like, if there are options to niche it down for sure. Because it's the same thing. Like when we talk about putting hashtags in your profile, like when people search for the generic word leadership, like the chances of you ranking for that are so slim. So the more niched you can get with your hashtags, the better. Because then people are going to just, you know, the right people are going to find it.
Okay. And then one just follow-up question around follower versus connection is the main difference would be in our feed. if someone is following us, they're going to always see our stuff we push out. But if we're a connection, we'll see each other's.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yep. 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 It's like when you're connected, it's like, two-way street. You can see each
Okay.
other's and interact with each other fully. You also, when people follow you, you can't message them freely like you would a connection.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So I take it as a stalking opportunity when somebody follows me. So, and I highly recommend everybody else do that, because you can kind of guess and see if people are like a good fit for you or not, whereas when we're growing our networks, when we get started and you get a connection request and you're like, oh gosh, like I'm a connection request, and you accept it. And then you find out that it's just some person that wants to sell you something or another, like, it's a pain. And so you can usually go to somebody's profile and figure out pretty quickly, unless they're pretty sneaky, what they're doing and what they're, trying to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Julie?
Actually, I'm going to ask you two questions now. So when somebody does that, though, if somebody requests to connect and you look at their stuff and you're like, oh, they're going to be, I've had quite a few where people have wanted to do a website for me for free.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so I have just left those hanging out there, the connection requests. Do you recommend just doing that, or actually just, because you can decline? I think
I would decline. LinkedIn is a platform that you can train. And I'll be talking about that actually a lot more throughout the year. But the more, and actually, just so that you guys know, LinkedIn is going to be unveiling a really cool they're going to start rolling out how to organize your inbox. So the beginnings of that is actually coming. They're going to have a thing where you put it into focus mode. And the way that it's going to work is by you training it. So you showing it the things, like you replying to the things that matter. You know how when I tell you guys not to reply to those people that reach out to you that are spammers, like just don't do that. Like really, LinkedIn is a platform that you want to teach, and then it will give you the right things in return. So decline. Yeah, for sure.
And then the other question that I had was, I hadn't noticed that before. I don't know if it's new, but when you see the impressions, and the impressions will be a lot higher number than somebody that comments or reacts. What's impressions telling us?
Impressions is very general. It's just like somebody stumbling upon it. It showed up in their feed and they scrolled past it. So it's like the lowest level. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really good to know. They used to show you a lot more in different social media analytics, but now those are kind of like those are the benchmarks, and impressions is a good entry point. The more impressions you have, the better. So, always with all those numbers, you're going to want to try to get them up and up. Okay.
Jackie, we
Dr.
actually
Vero,
have a question as well. Yeah,
Okay.
wondering if there's a limit to the number of topics that we can put in.
So 5 in creator mode, that it's 5. So, if you're thinking about your pillars, I would say your strongest pillars are probably your Monday through Friday. The ones that you put out. I mean, and maybe Sunday is more important to you, but like the things that you're posting about, just pick the top 5 and know that you can rotate them out. It's like anything else that you're doing, in marketing, like nothing's forever. Like, when I've talked about this in my branding sessions, everything that we do, like you can change that stuff. So get it out there. And when you want to update it. Okay. Yes.
Just because I saw that when you opened Melissa's profile, those are the hashtags, but is that different? Because
Those are the
there were more than
topics.
5.
Yeah, those are the hashtags are the topics.
Because these here are 5 that are green, but you have graded out like 7 or 8. That's why I got confused.
So I'm not sure what you mean. This one is from my profile. I took this screenshot from my profile. So these are the top 5 things that I have on my profile.
Okay.
Melissa doesn't have her 5 picked because we're in renovation progress
Oh,
on
okay,
her
okay.
profile right now. All right. So we're going to talk now about going live on LinkedIn. And a lot of you guys know this stuff, so I don't think this is going to be like the huge focus tonight. We've been over this, not a lot, you know, in general, not a lot has changed. And when you go live on LinkedIn, something that you need to remember is if you had access to LinkedIn Live before they changed everything, you still do. So, and they are, you know, the rules that I'm going to tell you about tonight about LinkedIn Live, about them granting access to it, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from what I've talked to people about, they are rolling it out a lot faster. So like, you know, think about those rules as flexible. Everything's evolving, everything's changing. So they want people to go live on LinkedIn. So they're rolling it out quickly. Also, they're rolling out audio events quickly. So before you know it, everybody's going to have access to LinkedIn Live. Having said that, it's good to know that with LinkedIn Live, you cannot go live on LinkedIn unless you are in creator mode. That's why we talked about it first. You have to have your profile in creator mode to go live on LinkedIn. You have to have your profile in creator mode to use LinkedIn audio events. You just do. Maybe that will change someday, but that's just kind of the way that it is right now. And, you know, the parameters for getting access to LinkedIn Live are having 150 connections or followers, and really just engaging on LinkedIn. The more that you engage on LinkedIn, the better your chances are of having access to it. So it's as simple as that. If you want to get access to LinkedIn Live, you are going to want to start engaging. And LinkedIn live streams receive 24 more times more comments and 7 times more reaction than regular posts. I think that's just common sense. I think when things are live nowadays, it's just more reflexive to comment on them. You know, video is just something that's favored in the algorithm, but I don't think it's just that it's favored in the algorithm. I think it's favored by people nowadays, you know, I mean, the odds of people and you know, this may not be you, but commenting on a post versus a video, it's different, and videos just get more engagement. I mean, a lot of us actually just sit there and watch live videos even without like hearing it, you know, because usually we're watching video when we shouldn't be. And I don't know about you, but you know, you're like, I know that sometimes I'll be watching TV with my boyfriend and I'll accidentally turn the audio on and I'm like, like I didn't mean to do that. I was just watching my videos on silent, but a lot of people do that. So people would rather watch live video. It's just a thing. It's here to stay. If video is not your thing, it's one of those things you're going to have to practice at. I don't think that it was something that is natural, that it's natural to everybody. It's maybe in the younger generations is where they're growing up. It's becoming more natural to them because that's just kind of how that they were raised. But it's not natural. It's not easy. We said this on a video audit that I did the other night. Give yourself grace if you are scared to death about going live on LinkedIn. It's okay. Ease yourself into it. Dr. Vero here on the line is a very good example of that, about how she has eased herself into it. I don't know if you want to share with us kind of what you've done to start easing yourself into it.
Just doing it.
But you've been uploading video to get started.
I upload 1 video a week.
Yep.
Except for 2 weeks that I was not feeling well. But other than that, it's been since I would say April, maybe.
Yep. And it's a good stepping stone to get you, you know, comfortable on camera, which you may or may not ever be comfortable on camera. You guys might look at me right now and think that I've always been super comfortable on camera. And if you've known me for a few years, like George on this call, like, that was not always the case. I was not. So it's just something that comes. Then you've got to just do it. And I would hope that all of your passion and all of your love for your businesses, everyone on this call, would make it worth it to you to step outside of your comfort zone and do it. Because I will tell you, all of your businesses are worth it. It's worth it to try. And honestly, I think the more real and raw you are with people and the less perfect that you are, people actually appreciate that a lot more, and they feel like they can talk to you. So if you think about it from that perspective, live video it's the way to go. And I just want to, before I call on you, Lisa and Brad, I just wanted to mention that one of the best things that I think you can do to go live to get started is to go live with someone else. So go live with someone that you're like a testimonial, interview someone, go live with somebody in an audience that's adjacent to you, like somebody that does something similar but not the same. So you guys would have a similar type of an audience. Search out someone and find someone that it would make sense to go live with, because you will feel more comfortable going live with another person. I know I did. Brad and Lisa. Hi guys.
Thanks, Jackie.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? Good
Good.
morning. It's happy Wednesday here in Tomorrowland. Great videos, Veronica. I love watching them. So you're getting more and more confident. Just that point of going live with another person, I was going to say, because I've been doing video for a while, that you just treat that little red dot on the camera as a person, as though you're talking to a person.
Yeah.
So just try and think of it that way.
Absolutely.
But can you actually integrate things like StreamYard and Zoom? Because if I wanted to do an interview with somebody, can you put the Zoom application into that live?
Yep, we're going to talk about that today. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep, I'm just trying to convince you all to go live on LinkedIn. So hopefully I'm succeeding, because, you know, we're going to talk about kind of all the steps that you have to take to go live on LinkedIn. Might seem like a lot. Know that you all invested in this academy and you guys can ask us questions at any time. So if you are going through these steps and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, like ask me. Ask someone else, somebody else. There are many, many people that know how to do this and are willing to share their knowledge with you. Sandra is a wonderful person who has been participating in all of my chats lately and has been so helpful. So there are, you know, don't let the tech scare you. And Shelly, you said, I know it's called a live, but it doesn't really have to be live. No. So with things like StreamYard and Restream, you can actually live stream pre-recorded video. We'll talk about that. So that's an option for you. And I do think that pre-recorded video is a great stepping stone to actually going live. It just is. Sarah, you said that you have a question. Do you want to come off of mute?
Yeah, I did have a question, but I think you're gonna answer it later about how to like do the pre-recorded lives.
Yep.
So I'll just wait and then ask you then.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So we're going to go talk about going live. So again, the ways to go live, the way to get live initially is to get approved. Then you are going to want to sign up for a third-party streaming service. You cannot go live directly on LinkedIn like you do on Facebook. You can't. So
Jackie, can you zoom in on your slides a little bit to make the font bigger?
Yes. How about like that? Good.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. So you can't just go live. You have to use third-party streaming service. And we're going to talk about, I know about all of them. So we're going to talk about kind of the pros and cons and, you know, kind of depending on what you want to invest in, what you're going to get in return. So with multi-streaming services, the ones I have listed here, these are the ones that I would recommend the most. I don't recommend Vimeo. It just happened to be the first one that I searched for. It's super expensive and unnecessarily expensive. If you use Vimeo, if you're like, I have a lot of clients that use Vimeo and they have like big accounts. If you see if it's something that you're already paying for sure. And then use it if you're already paying for it. But otherwise it's more expensive than any of them. StreamYard and Restream both have free plans. The downfall to the free plan is there are certain limits like on how many minutes you can go live on, you know, but the other thing is, and this may be the biggest thing to some of you that really care about this, it does put the logo of the streaming service in like the top corner of your live. So if you're going live with StreamYard, you're going to have the big alligator StreamYard logo in the top corner of your StreamYard thing. So it's just kind of like, if you don't want to invest and you want to go for free, do that. With Restream, we do have a paid plan with Restream, and I'm not as familiar, but I have heard that their free plan is a little more friendly. And when you go live directly through Restream, I haven't seen any logos that they put on there. So if it were me, I would check Restream out first. I'm going to show you guys Restream today. Switcher Studio is $49 and up. It's just one of those things. I'm putting it out there in case you use it for some reason or you need it, but I just wouldn't, I'm not a big fan of paying for things unless you have to. So I wouldn't pay for that. Social Live is the other one. You actually have to go through a demo to get that. So to me, that sounds like super expensive if you have to go through a demo to get it. So I don't know. It depends on your business, where you're at. Like, if you're making like multiple 6 figures, getting on 7 figures and money's not an issue, I don't know. I still think you should save your money and spend it where it matters, but this isn't a place that I would spend a lot of money. So, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. Let me see here. Yes, I like free too. Wherever we can get free, especially when you're first starting out, there are other places where you should be spending your money. It's just not one of them. So anytime that you are going to connect a third-party streaming service, I am going to give you guys my slide deck. So just so you know, you're going to have all of this stuff. So if any of you are worried that you won't have all this, you will. Anytime that you connect a third-party streaming service, what you're going to want to do initially is log into it and connect your destinations. And that might sound really techy, but what connecting your destination means, and we're going to hop over here to Restream, is the platforms that you go live on. It's not that bad, just the platforms that you go live on. So if I hadn't connected things here, we can go to edit destinations. We can click add a destination. Then it's like as simple as it gets. You click on the one that you want and walk through the steps. It basically is just going to log you into the platform and say, like, do you give LinkedIn permission to go, live on your behalf? And it's going to make you check a bunch of boxes and agree to it. And you should, like, the great thing about multi-streaming, we're doing this with Melissa's podcast on Thursday. We're going to go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We're going to do all of it. So if you can hit all of those things at one time, I think it's a great thing. But that's all the add your destinations mean. And that when you add them all, I would recommend adding all of them right away. That way you don't have to go back in and add them. I will say LinkedIn is probably one of the most annoying things when you connect it. It makes you re-verify it every so often. You'll get a notification that says like something like your LinkedIn token has expired. You have to basically go in and reconnect it. But most other ones stay connected for a long time. Any questions so far about this?
That's awesome. First of all, this is news to me. I love this. So Restream is free, first of all, love that. So when you go in here, when you click on these, like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, for example, can you go live on all of them at the same time? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Love it. Okay.
Now, sometimes with the free plan, it limits how many you can go live at the same time. Some of you guys might know more specifics, but it's like sometimes 2 or 3. But it's, I think it's a great, whatever you can start with, it's a great start. And you can go live on all of these platforms. So look at that as from a marketing standpoint, like you're hitting all of these places all at once. Like you're just in marketing, what you're trying to do is get in front of people. So the more that you can do that, you'll maximize your reach. So while we are talking about LinkedIn here, and you can connect both your LinkedIn personal page and your LinkedIn business page. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but adding your destinations, that's really all there is to it. So the next thing that you're going to want to do, I'll get back to you in just a second, Brad and Lisa, I want to get this. If you are going to go live, you are going to want to schedule an event. StreamYard has the same exact thing inside of there. You just click create an event. And then you can see right here, you can either stream directly from your browser, which means, you know, just stream live to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all of those things all at once. That's all that means. But you'll also see down here that you can upload a video file. And StreamYard also has that same option where you can actually upload a video file. All of these platforms all have different rules. I know, like, I think that StreamYard, it has to be less than an hour. You only, and if it goes over an hour, it won't let you upload it. There's just different rules for all platforms, and you'll know because it'll turn red and it'll say you can't upload this. So you'll realize that you either need to upgrade or, you know, trim your video down a little bit.
And LinkedIn is only 15 minutes. You can't do any more than that for LinkedIn.
Yep. So it's just one of those things. So yeah, but if you do want to upload pre-recorded video, this is the way to do it. You know, shoot a short video of yourself. I don't think people really want to watch super long videos anyway. So shoot a short video of yourself and upload it if you're afraid of going live. And that's one way to do it. Okay, Brad and Lisa.
Veronica had her hand up first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that.
Oh, thank
your
you.
hand is blending into your background for me. So
Yeah, I was thinking I should change the color.
Yes. The yellow one is standing out like.
Yes, more.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the prices. So it seems like Restream has a better deal than StreamYard, and they're pretty much the same, right? So it's okay.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to use Zoom, which I know some of you guys are interested in learning about, and I'm going to talk about that. If you want to use Zoom, they're not the same. Using Zoom to go live on StreamYard is a disaster. You need to buy equipment. So you'll need to buy some different type of audio router, and you'll need to learn how to route the audio like from different inputs and outputs. I tried to go through this with Melissa, and I'm sure she can attest it was a disaster. If you want to use Zoom for some reason on Restream, it takes like 2 clicks.
Oh, okay, so Restream is better and cheaper, actually.
Yes. I'm a big fan. I started with StreamYard and I really liked it. I love Restream. I think it's super easy to use, and they have great support. So I'm a big fan of Restream.
But there's no need to pay for a monthly fee right now. If we can do both, right? Upload videos and do a 15-minute. I don't think I'm going to do a longer live anyways.
Yeah, use the free plan. If you, I would
Okay.
not invest in a higher plan unless you absolutely need it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Brad and Lisa.
I'm going to butt in first. This is good. Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah.
Question that in the Restream, didn't see on the destination Instagram, but I think you've spoken in the past. StreamYard, you can use Instagram.
Instagram has a closed API. You cannot use multi-streaming service to go live onto Instagram. Not yet. Maybe one day they'll change that. That's why people use multiple devices when they're like you know, if you have like an iPad or a phone or something, like, and it's kind of like some ninja skills that you've got to have where you tap the button to go live and then go live on your other thing. And
I've seen the white lights, you know, the ring lights.
It can be a mess. I will say if you try that, just because of like where you're looking, if you're trying to look at your audience, you need to make sure that those devices are next to each other. Otherwise, it just
unless you can separate your eyeballs.
Right. Right.
So the other question is this is having to upload the video. For me, I've done 2 or 3 lives, you know, from a course that we did. So unpracticed, uploading a video gives you time that you can at least practice that a few times too. So that's okay. I like that idea.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I could have answered Brad's Instagram question. That's about the only one tech question I could answer.
Instagram, is that a new one?
I was going to talk about the time of the video. So looking at the percentage of engagement, if you're doing regular posts on LinkedIn, and for example, if I wanted to do 3 videos a week, but just more short little tips, 2 and 3 minute videos, rather than a post would be a great way to.
I think that's a great idea. Absolutely. The more that you can vary the content, the better. So yes, if you can do that, definitely. And you know, the way that live video is showing up in the feed now, it actually just, you can actually scroll through and just see live streams. So it's just as effective as having them post up.
Okay, because I was going to ask about the length of the live. So I was figuring people's attention span is probably about 10 or 15 minutes anyway. So if it was a more in-depth teaching, you don't want to rabbit on too long.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cheers.
Lene, you're next.
When you upload video, is there a way to make it look like it's live?
I mean, it does. I think it comes down to your personal cues and how you record the video. I would try when you're recording the video to make it as untimed as possible, like where people, you know, people can't really tell. Don't say the date, don't say the time, you know, like anything like that. Don't give any cues to what time it would be. And then, so keep your video very universal. We restream the LinkedIn method thing that we do, the LinkedIn Lead Gen Masterclass. We restream that through StreamYard or Restream at night in the Facebook group the night after, just to catch people, you know, that haven't really watched it during the day. And it's visibly not live, but the people still get a notification that it's live. And we never really have any issues. We honestly, to be honest, we have people that interact with it like it is live, and we're just like, it's okay. You know, we just still comment and everything and go along with it. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I'm just curious because I started recording my podcast live when on recording days. And what I noticed is, and this past guest I had is amazing because she's been on a lot, but there will be guests on that may not have as much experience. And I'm kind of forward thinking that, like, if they get nervous or, you know, so it might be nice to not go live on those days, tape it. If we have to do edits, do it and then post it.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. And you can absolutely do that. So, I mean, I think with Melissa's podcast, she goes live with the person and then it's released on to iTunes and Spotify later. But I think there's definitely something to be said for recording it and then releasing it via live stream and in syndication all at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that could work too very well.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah?
Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. What is the difference? So I don't have an issue with going live. I got over that, whatever. I think for me, it was just like how to go live. And because it's not as simple as like, oh, click a button and go live. I feel like
I think it is. Once you schedule this, all you have to do is click the button and go live.
Well, so now that I'm re-seeing it, like it's easy, but I had done like pre-recorded videos and just uploaded them through LinkedIn. What is the difference? Like, does LinkedIn like this way better as opposed to?
I think you can do both. I think you should do both. If you upload it through this, it sends your connections a notification that you're live.
Okay.
Whereas if you just upload a static video, it's not going to send that notification out to your network. It's just going to remain in the feed as if you posted like a static image and caption.
Okay. Okay. So that's the only difference is like the live, like the notification. Okay.
Yep. I mean, the notification is a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think also when we talk about events here in just a little bit, you'll also see like how you can use those to capitalize on it. And you can definitely create events for pre-recorded videos.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We'll take one more question, then I got to get going. I got to get through this stuff. Brad, what's up?
So go ahead, Brad.
Sorry, just in regards with that, you just said to Sarah that instead of just posting a video versus post the video via live stream, restream or live is going to be better.
So either way is going to be fine. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think you want to, like anything, you want to vary the way that you do it for best results. It's like everything, you just want the best results you're going to get is by varying all the different things that I tell you about for sure.
Okay.
Did someone else, Lisa, did you have a question?
I do. I just remember in the modules that the training for LinkedIn Live was pretty early on in the schedule of training. And I got to tell you, I hit it and I was like, I am nowhere close to being able to do that in my mind or in my ability or just maybe between my ears. And would you recommend waiting until you get past the 500 connections threshold before you're doing, or this is a way to do that?
I think this would expand your network. We're going to talk about how you can use events to collaborate with people and like open up your network. So if you went live and like had a guest or something, you would open yourself up to all of the people in their network. So that's, you know, it's a way to open yourself up without having to actually go manually search for people. So I think that going live as soon as you possibly can is the best thing that you can do for yourself.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just one of those things that I think you should just do. I mean, whenever you can. I don't care if you have 10 people. I mean, you won't get LinkedIn Live if you have 10 people, but you know, if you have a small audience, go live. Like just go live, practice it. And I mean, look at it this way. If you're going live to 150 people, it might not scare you as much as going live to potentially like 500 or 1,000 people in your network. So start early, practice.
Dress rehearsal.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that in all streaming services, you have the ability to add a thumbnail. Some platforms require you to add a thumbnail to your post. I just do, most of the time we just do a rectangle and that seems to work pretty well. The exact dimensions we use are like 1280 by 720 when we upload it. And if it doesn't fit, it will tell you. But that's typically what we use. It's what expands the best in the feed, like the Facebook feed and LinkedIn feed and all of those types of things. So it's not as easy, I guess, yes, as going to Facebook and clicking live. But I think going live through Facebook is actually, it's not super easy either. You know, you have to open up that studio and go live and make sure everything's connected. This really, once you create your event in whatever third-party streaming service that you have, you just click the go live button. It'll count you down. It'll say like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're live. The best advice I can give you is that there is a 20-second delay, at least 20 to 30-second delay. So when you first start talking to people, just remember that you're literally talking to no one. So just say hi, you know, talk about something random, maybe talk to your guest, whatever. But just know that there is a lag. So that's it. Linda, yes.
So why would you ever actually, excuse me, go live and subject yourself to, you know, I don't know, doing something that makes you feel like you want to put your head through a wall when you can record it ahead of time and then post it as though it's live? And
I totally, I get that. Like, and I think it's personal preference. Like for me, I don't mind going live anymore. Like when I first started, I felt the same way you did and I hated it and I dreaded it. And I like thought about it at night before I had to go live. So like, I get it. But like, as I've gotten used to it, I don't even notice that I'm live. Like I just talk and talk and talk and then it's over. So it's just, but if it is that abhorrent to you, don't do it, you know, like just ease yourself into it and do the pre-recorded route.
Yeah, like I don't know why it sort of feels weird because I've been on stages a bunch and radio and stuff. I just
it is like, sometimes it totally feels like talking into thin air. Like
right.
Totally.
Anyway, so we'll see. I've never tried it, so maybe it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I just wondered if there was a reason not to do that. It looks like people are posting, you know, well, you can interact with your audience if you're actually live.
Yeah, I mean, you can interact with your audience. I mean, and live is better for the algorithm, but if you use a streaming service to go live, you know, I mean, there are some people that say that LinkedIn can tell. Right now, I'm not seeing that, like that they can really tell. They may be able to pick that up later on. But if you can, do it. If you can't, honestly, at the end of the day, I want you guys to be active on LinkedIn. Whatever and however that feels good for you. I'm giving you this stuff as an option, but I want you to be active on LinkedIn as much as possible. And I can tell you that with the LinkedIn algorithm, you have to use multiple different like mediums. So we want you to, you know, I want you to get the best results. So I want you to use different ways.
Thanks.
All right, Dr. Vero, we'll go with you, and then we'll talk about some live streaming ideas, and then we'll move
This is
into
a
audio.
very basic question, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
That's okay. Yeah.
What's a thumbnail
Thumbnail is a graphic.
that you have
So
to
that's
put
what
there?
we call like the cover image of, like, if you think of like YouTube thumbnail. So it's like the graphic that goes over top of the video.
Oh,
So
you
a
have to
thumbnail
create-
is just a graphic. It's like a graphic promotional thing. It's like a promotional
So
graphic.
you have to create it every time, or you create one and then use it all the time?
I think creating one and using it all the time is better for brand recognition.
Okay.
And it's easier for you. You can have like a template. If you need to update like one word, I think it's just easier. So, all right. So for live streaming, here's just some ideas that I think you guys could do. You could do a weekly live show. This is the most popular thing, and people love this. Like when you do like a live show that's just like you talking about like a certain topic every week, people like that. I've also seen people have success doing a live show that's pre-recorded that they just upload straight to the platform. So if that's the route you need to go, do it that way. But really what we're trying to do when we go live is like forge a connection with our audience. We want them to feel comfortable with us. Remember how I said that in some of my trainings that it's a stretch for people to reach out to us, you know, and for people to start interacting with us. They're going to feel more confident in interacting with us if you talk to them, if you create a bond with them, and not just through, you know, flat static posts and pictures. So the more that you can create that bond, the better sales you're going to get. You can do product demos, depending on what, you know, for network marketing, that could be a thing. I could totally see that. This should say, ask me anything, but, you know, like just like a Q&A type of thing where you're interacting with your audience. That's awesome for the algorithm. If you can get people to go on with you for like an ask me anything type of thing, and you're getting people like asking you questions, that's just like, every single time someone is asking you a question or interacting, like somebody is saying, yes, they like your content. And that's the way that LinkedIn is absorbing that. So something like that is good. You could use live streaming in coordination with podcasting. And then the last thing is, you know, I think that everyone who has an online business should be doing some sort of a webinar or masterclass consistently with our audience. And I think that live streaming it, like Melissa does hers, I know other clients do that. Like one of our other older clients in the academy, she does a monthly masterclass. It's awesome. She started out, she barely had anybody on it, and now like people look forward to it. It's something, again, that you have to build consistency with, but people need to see your face. You need to pitch to them. So, in, you know, the case of like webinars and master classes, it may be easier for you to pre-record that, because pitching in front of a live audience it's tough if you haven't done it before. So it's something that you'll need to practice. But I do think that everybody should be doing some type of conversion event, monthly, every other month, something like that consistently, so that people, you know, they understand that you're there to sell something and that you have a service. It's just one of those things that's important. Somebody said, can you share your screen on live? Yes, all the time. Yes. So you definitely can do that. Yep. Brittany asked, how do you do a carousel post on LinkedIn? And Sandra asked, upload as a PDF. That's right. We went over that on LinkedIn Basics. So to do a carousel post on LinkedIn, you want to create it in Canva with your different graphics, and then download the whole thing as a PDF and upload it as a document. That's how you get a carousel post. All right. We need to move into the thing that you guys probably don't know a heck of a lot about: audio events. So audio events are something that's really cool if you're afraid to be on video, right? If something that like you don't necessarily want your face out there. I will say though that with audio events, the chances of you messing up are far higher. So, because this is kind of like, I look at audio events on LinkedIn, and this is kind of like, you know, the wild, wild west. We're going into it. Everybody's doing it. I will say that it's very much in beta. So if you get on an audio event, there could be problems. Know that. They will likely be worked out as the time goes on. But it's just it's buggy. In audio events, how many of you guys are familiar with Clubhouse? The platform that was like super popular and then like went away and like you barely hear about it anymore. Audio events are very, very, very similar to Clubhouse. So if you have been on Clubhouse and you have been in a Clubhouse room and you know how that works, you're going to have a leg up on this because you're going to know how to do it. And I'm going to say this a few times in here. I highly recommend attending audio events before you do one yourself so that you can see how it works and you can get comfortable. In your LinkedIn profile, if you go to the My Network tab at the top, that is where you find your audio events. It actually has a whole bunch of stuff in there now that it's suggested for you, but that's where you can find audio events. Audio events on LinkedIn are becoming, they're very popular, but they're hard to find right now. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to get found using them too. So audio, if you guys have been with me for a while, I'm not going to read you all this stuff, but you can look at it later. Audio to me is so hugely like important right now because people just don't have time to sit down and watch videos all the time, right? Most of the time when people are watching videos, they're actually just listening to them. So if video is not your thing, audio may be more your thing. Most of the time people are walking around the house with their earbuds in, listening in their car, things like that. You're giving people a chance to become more familiar with you without actually having to, sit down, watch a video, all that kind of stuff. So, and I think the busier we get as a society, audio is going to increase massively. Like the use of audio in marketing is going to increase massively. So I listen to things in my headphones when I'm doing everything around the house. So like when I'm doing laundry or something, I have my AirPods in and I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to something that I've tuned into. So just know that, like, I really want any of you guys that are not going to use, LinkedIn Live or whatever to use audio events, because I think this is something that will really benefit you. In the reach of using audio events right now is huge, because when you're actually going live doing the audio, people are tuning in like crazy. Now, I will say it's not a refined reach. So what I mean by that is like people are probably going to tune in to your audio event like they did to Clubhouse events, and they're definitely not going to be your ideal audience. So that's something we can work on, getting a better reach and getting the right people in. But right now it is very much like the wild, wild west. Like people are just tuning in, which is why I highly recommend getting on one of these. Okay. So what are LinkedIn audio events? So audio events are just like what they sound like. It is an event where people are talking to each other and interacting with each other via audio. That's it, audio. And you do not have to use any type of third-party streaming software or anything like that. It's all right within LinkedIn, and it's actually right within a LinkedIn event. So it's very similar to Clubhouse. You can mute and unmute people. I have some screenshots and stuff that I'm going to show you guys so you guys can kind of look at it and get a little more familiar with it. People can raise their hand just like they can in Clubhouse rooms if they want to talk. And there can be up to 17 people on stage at the same time. Now, likely if you're hosting an audio event, you're going to be the only one on stage, right? Because it's up to you when people raise their hand who you bring up. And maybe you don't want to bring anybody up. I will say that Renee Schulte in the Academy has done audio events, and she has had issues muting attendees. So, I would highly recommend learning where that mute button is, making sure that it works for you. And again, that's something I'm going to show you guys screenshots for. So everyone else is really just listening. So one of the best ways that you can ask for engagement when you're doing an audio event is ask people to hit the like button, ask people to hit the heart button. That's really going to improve the success of your audio event. You can do an audio event for 3 hours. I'm not sure, like that could be pretty crazy, I think. Doing an audio event for 3 hours, I'm not sure I would want to do that. The minimum amount of time you can schedule it for is 15 minutes, but it can go up to 3 hours. And the discussion within the event can have to actually continue after that. And I told you guys I was going to tell you one of the best ways to actually be found right now is when you're creating your event title, which I'm going to show you guys how to do all of this. You want to use the word LinkedIn audio event in your title right now. So if I would probably put it in brackets or something like LinkedIn audio event, and then after that, put the actual title of what your discussion is going to be. That's how people are actually finding these audio events right now.
Hashtag or just?
No hashtag.
Hashtag.
Yep. Hashtags you'll use in the description. And I'll show you guys that. You'll want to use hashtags just strategically in the description. And these are also these are things that, again, you guys are getting a copy of these slides. I want you guys to know these things. And LinkedIn actually has they created a little workbook for you. I have the link in your workbook to that. And I actually screenshotted some of the visuals, and we'll go over those next. But they're very about this. They want this audio to take out, so they actually even created a guide for you. But just some things to know: if you accidentally leave, it doesn't close your event, which is great because, I don't know about you, but I've accidentally left Clubhouse rooms a lot. It will shut the whole thing down, but the event continues and you can just come back in. Now, it's probably going to put somebody on stage that you don't want to be on stage, so you'll have to regain control. But just know that you can do that. And like I said, you can find audio events to attend under the My Network tab in your LinkedIn profile. Any questions so far before I kind of get into like how it looks and all that stuff? How many of you guys think you're going to do audio events? Maybe? All right.
Eventually.
Okay. Eventually. Dr. Vera, what's your question?
Just what happens with the events? Once we go live, they stay there both in your profile? And then people can just rewatch that? Okay.
Yep, they can rewatch, re-listen. The one thing I will say about audio events, which I actually didn't put in here, but you cannot download them. So if you're thinking about using this as like a podcast, you know me, like there will likely end up being a third-party tool that you can use to do it. But for right now, like you can't like download the audio. So if you're thinking of using it as a podcast, it may not work exactly like that. So how many of you guys have ever created an event, just any type of event on LinkedIn? Okay, we're going to go over that next, but that's how you create an audio event. So we'll actually go over to Melissa's profile, get out of this. We'll go back to her feed, and inside of her feed, and we're going to actually talk about this in a minute. You can go here, but it's a little bit harder to find. You have to click this, but you can go down here on the side tab and click just plus, and that's how you create an event. This is where you're going to get started with creating any type of event. And we're going to go over events in general after I talk about audio events, but this is how you create an audio event. And what you'll want to do is choose the event format here. So it's pretty self-explanatory, like you're just going to choose LinkedIn audio event instead of LinkedIn Live. You can do an external link event. That would be something like if you're doing a webinar or something, on another platform. But this is how you go in and create the event. Let's go back to my slides. All of this I actually screenshotted from the workbook that LinkedIn made for this. So all of you guys have this in the workbook that I gave to you. You just basically need to go through and fill out all of the information. As you're filling out this information, your event name, this is where you would put in LinkedIn audio event in brackets, and then your title after that. And I think with any type of title, you have to remember that it's searchable. So I would use a keyword in your title. So something like a searchable word, something that people would be looking for if you can. Like, don't use it to the point where it makes the title look crazy and doesn't make sense. But if you can use a keyword, I would use a keyword. This is also your description. Look at how many characters you get here. You get 5,000 characters, which is quite a bit. So in your description, be descriptive, right? Like, talk about exactly what your audio event is about, use keywords, think of it as like a mini blog post. And Sandra, that probably resonates with you, but like, think of it as a mini blog post. This is also where you're going to put hashtags. So you'll put hashtags here in the description. So you can go light on this and don't do much. Just know that like the effort that you put into the description is, comparable to the reach that you're going to get. So the more effort that you put into that description, the better results you're going to have. Speakers are only people that you are connected with. So if you intend on doing an audio event with somebody and you're not connected with them on LinkedIn, like, this isn't going to work. So make sure that you are actually connected with them on LinkedIn, so that and speakers is really just for promotional purposes only. If you add someone as a speaker, it's going to be something that they can share with their network, right? So you'll be able to share it. They'll be able to share it. More people can join in the audio event and speak, but this is just for promotional purposes. And I think it's a good idea to share networks. This is what I was talking about opening up your network to other people. I would actually go out and try to find people strategically that could be speakers, connect with them. I know that we're all about going out there and connecting with our ideal clients and all of that. And I know we absolutely should do that, but don't forget about people that could actually help your business grow. Connect with people where it's a good networking opportunity. And you guys could do one of these together. You could do the same thing if we went up here and created a LinkedIn Live event. The same fields are still here, and we can add a speaker, we can add our description, all that kind of stuff. So this says right here, 16:9 aspect ratio. I have it in my slides, but the length and width that you want is 1920 by 1080 pixels. LinkedIn they have officially published event banner sizes everywhere. It's wrong. It doesn't work. So the official things that you're going to find in Canva aren't right. So definitely know that it's 1920 by 1080 pixels to get an event cover. So okay, yes. So Dr. Vera, you asked how many weeks in advance to create the event. 3 weeks is absolutely that for events, 3 weeks. If you're just doing like a little mini audio event, I think maybe even 2 weeks might be okay, and honestly, if you want to have one next week and do it, I'd rather see you do it than worry about the timeline as much. So just do it. But if you're thinking about like official promotion, 3 weeks is pretty standard for events and especially conversion events. All right.
Is that 3 weeks rule of thumb to drive traffic?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there's no rule in terms of inside of LinkedIn that you have to. No,
it's to drive. It's a marketing thing, like to drive traffic. 3 weeks is good, where it doesn't become totally out of mind, because if you do it too far out, like people forget that they signed up for something. 3 weeks is like the kind of the sweet spot. It's usually when people start running ads to convert. 3 weeks is about the timeline that people start running ads for events and things like that. So from a marketing standpoint, you know, that 3 weeks for that reason. So this is what it looks like. And if you guys have seen Clubhouse, like how familiar does this look? It's very, very, very familiar if you have been on Clubhouse. Basically, you can see right here, like this would be you. And I thought it was awesome. You know, Melissa always talks about how your headline follows you. It sure does, right? Even in the LinkedIn events and audio events and stuff, people are going to be able to see your headline right here if you're up on stage. These in the white, these are the people that are up on stage. As the host, you have the ability to mute people. You can click on their profile and mute. You can just click on them and mute them. This is where you're going to ask for reactions. Like this guy here gave it a heart. All the people will see this panel here, so they can give all of the like, heart, all celebrate all the things here. You click this button to talk, and you click this button to exit. And if you guys like, this is what I mean. This is probably going to be foreign to some of you, like doing all of this. And so I would highly recommend getting into an event with somebody else and kind of testing it out and seeing how it works before, if you dive into it. I know Renee, if you're watching this, like Renee just dove into it and did it. And she said it was crazy and fun and she loved it, but it was kind of a hot mess. So if you're okay with that, like, then do it. But it could be a hot mess. And if you're somebody like, I know some people on here are like they like things to be look good and be perfect and come out as well as they can, then, you know, definitely go check out the audio event before you do one yourself. Lisa and Brad, yes.
Sorry, just quickly on that note, how do you go and find, if we wanted to sort of look at doing one and go and watch one, what would we type in, or where
you would go to the My Network tab. That's
Yep.
where they show you audio events that you might want to go join. You can try searching. It's not working very well right now because not everybody is putting audio event in their description. So, you know, until LinkedIn kind of streamlines that, the search for that is going to be really muddled. So going to your My Network is the best. Your My Network section, I think, you know, the My Network section in your profile should be a direct reflection of what you want to see on the platform. If it's not, you've got to do some training to your platform. So you've got to work on the things that you're interacting with, the people that you're connecting with, the connections that you decline, all of those types of things matter. That I think a great gauge is your My Network page, how that looks and what it's suggesting for you. If it's not what you really want to see, you've really got to work on that. Does that help, Brad, Lisa?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, one more question on that. I occasionally receive invites to events, so that means we can actually invite people to the event. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. And all events you can invite people. So after you go through the process that I just pulled up there, when you're done, it's going to actually ask you to share the event as a post, and then it's going to bring you to a screen where you can just start inviting your connections. I mean, of course, there is no magic button where you can invite your whole network. There isn't. So it's one by one. So I would highly recommend sharing the event as much as humanly possible. You know, I mean, when you have an audio event coming up in 3 weeks, I would promote the event several times a week on top of your regularly scheduled content. So, you know, share it. And so that people will RSVP to it without you having to go through and manually click everyone in your network, because you're probably not going to do that. Yes, Shabina.
Hi.
Hi.
So with the live event for the video, when we're in Restream and we create an event, we still have to go into LinkedIn and create event?
Yes, for best results. You don't have to. With the live events, like going live on LinkedIn, you don't have to go create an event, but you're going to have more reach if you use it in conjunction with an event. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys what an event looks like and why I recommend that you have it. let me see what else I've got here. Well, we'll go down there then. So
Hey,
Jackie,
I was just going to say, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but repetition is key for me to learning. I think everyone. Would
Yeah.
you at the end or at whatever point feels natural, just run through like create a dummy event for us
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick? I'm trying
Yeah.
to remember. I was looking around like, where do I start?
Yes.
It'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
I will. Yeah, and I have a lot more on events. I have the last of my slides are all about creating events because I know that you need to create them for a lot of different things. So I just created this event tonight for Melissa's podcast on Thursday. You know, like I wouldn't say to do this, like this was an afterthought. So in the future, we'll create them more regularly. So this is what an event looks like for LinkedIn Live. If you have an audio event, it's going to look the same exact way. It's cool. Like people can add this to their calendar. Like it has an actual add to calendar button so that people can add your event to your calendar. So you want to get talking in here. And this screen here is what, you know, the audio event page is going to look like. Any type of event page is going to look like. You can interact in here. So I can go in here now and start interacting with people that have RSVP'd to this event. So it's like a holding page, right? It's like it's a page that you can actually start getting engagement on. So the more people that you can get to attend and RSVP to your events, the better. If you go attend events, you can actually look under the networking tab here, and you can see there usually are, like if there's a ton of people coming, there's a whole list of people that are coming to the event. That's great to look through for you. That's like free advertisement of leads, right? If you find an event of some type that aligns with your audience, look at the people that are attending, and this is why it would pay off for you to attend different types of events. So when people in your network send you invites to events, I know it's, you know, you're like, I don't need to go to that. Think about it from a strategic standpoint. How could it benefit you, right? You could learn more about them, but are the attendees going to be people that you could potentially be benefited by, you know, exposure to? Think about that. It's just that this is also where you can edit. So if you've made a mistake, people ask me this all of the time. If I need to edit it, you can go right in and just edit your event here. You can also cancel. You can manage your attendees. So if somebody, I guess, I don't know, maybe if somebody signs up that you don't like, I guess you could remove them. I don't know. I probably don't see you using that very often. You can cancel the event. You can delete it. You can also reshare it. If you have a company page, you can create events on your company page and share them to your personal profile. And if you, from your personal profile, you can share your personal profile events to your company page. So it's kind of like a back and forth type of thing. You can do that. I think it works better to create events if you're going to create an event and share it over to your personal page. But that is a lot of strategy. And right now, I just want you guys all to get comfortable with making events. Don't worry about that stuff too much until later on. I'd rather just get you guys creating events. And then you can come to our office hours and ask about strategy after you get comfortable with it. Or we can do a follow-up to this. So does this make sense to you guys? And do you see why you want how it would benefit you to get a lot of people in here? Just being able to post things at any time and everybody will get a notification that you posted it. I think that's huge. That's just really huge. Shabina, yes.
So in the previous, I think LinkedIn Live, you said to add the page to collect email addresses. Is that still the case?
Yes, we'll talk about that with events.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that with your company page. So you cannot collect email addresses yet with your personal page, but LinkedIn lead gen forms are something that is actually being rolled out more right now. Lead gen forms are ways to collect email addresses, and they have rolled them out onto company pages, which is a training that I want to do for you guys in the future. But they're going to show up in different places on LinkedIn. So your chances of collecting email addresses on LinkedIn are going to start increasing over the next year. And if you guys have been on any trainings with me, you know how important I think that is. Collecting email addresses, hugely important. Okay, so my ideas for audio events, I think a weekly live show, and then I guess for podcast, I don't mean necessarily a podcast. Sometimes the idea of setting up a podcast, and for those of you that have your podcast set up, that's awesome, that's amazing. But if you don't yet, and it seems like a big lift for you, do like start a beginner podcast on, you know, LinkedIn audio. You don't have to do all the things, you know, where you are connecting it to Spotify and Apple. And if you curate the right audience, it's going to be probably more effective than a regularly syndicated podcast, because the right people are going to be hearing it all of the time. Whereas with a regular podcast, like you're sending it out, and if you do your keywords right, you know, if you market it the right way, it's going to have good reach. But with this, if you curate your audience the right way, doing a live show or a podcast every single week that people can start to, you know is coming and recognize and start to get more familiar with you and create that know, like, trust thing, it's just going to be more effective. I know that Renee was also, I think it was Renee was talking about using it for networking. You guys, like, I'm telling you, when you think you need to go after the sale, I would tell you the majority of the time what you need to be doing is networking with people. Networking is more often than not going to lead to the sale than actually DMing people, doing all, you know, all those things. When you get in front and share what you're doing with people that are in even wildly different networks, you know, that's how I grew my business. I networked and networked and networked. I have a huge network of people, and now they all refer me because they know what I do. So creating like a place where people can network and you can learn more about them, and they can just simply learn what you do enough to be able to share that you do that with people, that word of mouth is huge. Collaborations, you know, I think if you can do any type of collaboration, if you can find, even in the academy here, my gosh, you guys, I know about a lot of you, and I think something that we've talked about, Melissa and I have talked about, is creating a directory of you guys. So, and, you know, it would be voluntary where you guys could choose to participate or not. But I think a lot of you guys are in different worlds, or where it would actually benefit you to collaborate with each other. So if that's of interest, we can definitely start working on that. I also think you could do trainings. I saw that done on Clubhouse quite a bit. And honestly, I prefer a training that I can listen to, that I don't have to study all of the visuals to it. So if you can do that, I think it's a great idea too. All right. So a lot of you guys are saying you'd love a directory. Great. Okay. So audio events, in recap, you guys are going to have to go in. Number one, you want to make sure that you have them. So remember, if you go to your profile, and most people have them right now, if you go to your creator mode thing, this is where you can see if you have audio events. So if you have audio events, it's going to be green. So strive to getting green on all of these things. We do have a training on newsletters in there, and we're probably due to do another one of those soon. Okay, so using events on LinkedIn. So I'm going to walk you through creating events, but I want you guys to start just getting into the habit of using events for things. Events send an alert to your network that you're having an event. You can invite people to them. I think they're hugely authority building. If you are taking the time to create an event, in my mind, you are a solid business owner. You've got it together. And I think from a visibility standpoint, it always benefits you to create events. So you can create events for LinkedIn Lives. You can create events for audio events, and then you can create events for anything else. If you have, maybe you've created an opt-in page for like something that you're doing, like a webinar or something. Maybe you're a network marketer and you do opportunity calls. If you're not opposed to inviting people to them, you could make an event for that. You could make events for, I mean, and I think we could probably dedicate an entire call to sitting down and thinking about all the different things that you could make events for. So just note that I mean, I don't want to see you slamming your audience with different types of events, but I think using them to let people know what you're doing and getting people familiar with you is one of the best things you can do for free, right? Because ads are expensive and they get more and more expensive. And so anything that you can do for free, it is obviously, I think, contingent about you building a good network. But anything that you can do like that, I think is hugely beneficial. LinkedIn events are very similar to Facebook events. How many of you guys are familiar with the old Facebook event where you just go in and create it? It's very, very similar to that. And I think that any of you, if you go to create an event, I would highly recommend that you just go through the entire thing on your own and test it out without even having an event in mind, just to look at all of the different fields and get familiar with it and get comfortable with it. You don't have to post it. If you can go through like the first and second screen without posting it. And like I said, event banners, 1920 by 1080. So for audio events, you have to use an event to create it. Like that's just that's how audio events work. That's how you create one. There's no way to just like click a button and have an audio event. You actually do have to create this. Another reason to use your event, you can invite your connections, share audiences, and it sends a notification. And as I showed you guys, I think the event pages are pretty cool. Obviously, the more people that you get to your event, the better. Okay, so any questions before I show you like some screenshots and stuff when we go through this? Okay, so sometimes in your feed, you can see the event thing right here. It's not always there. Sometimes I think it depends on the day. If you don't see it in the top of your feed, if you click into start a post, you'll find it if you click through the options inside of there. But I think it's just easier in the sidebar of your LinkedIn. So like this over here, you can just click the plus to start creating an event. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Let's see. And then when you are in here, you are going to want to fill all of these things out. So the very first thing is the organizer. If you have a company page set up, it's going to allow you to pick either you or the company page. And the fields are going to look different, whether or not you have you chosen or the company page. You could make this for an in-person event. It's very similar if you make a Facebook event for an in-person event. You're just going to fill out all of the details the same way. So under the event format, we're going to check either LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn Audio, or an external event. The event name, for any other type of event besides LinkedIn Audio events, you don't need to put the format that it's going to be in there. You can, I mean, you totally can, but if you are doing an audio event, you're going to want to put LinkedIn Audio event in there and then the title. If you're doing a live, it can be anything. If you're doing an external event, it can be anything. Just be mindful of using words that people would search for.
Jackie,
The more yeah.
Jackie, did I misunderstand organizer? I thought I heard that creating it from our business page is more effective than from our personal page, or am I incorrect on that?
I don't think it's more effective. I have that on the next screen. We're gonna go over that on the next screen, but okay. I don't think it's necessarily more effective. What you can do when you create it from a business page is you can collect people's email addresses. So from that standpoint, it's good, but when you collect people's email addresses, it gives them to you in like a downloadable spreadsheet. So if you have a downloadable spreadsheet, you're going to have to upload them to your email provider. In my mind, if you have an opt-in registration page made, that would be preferable to collecting email addresses on LinkedIn. But if you don't, I think you should use the company page and collect email addresses that way. Does that make sense?
Yes. Brittany had a great comment though. Can you see that?
Okay, it should. It definitely should. I'll show you how it should look. And it just may be I don't know why that wouldn't be. That's probably a glitch, and that's probably something that will resolve itself, because it definitely should show live or audio event. You should be able to do it from either one. So we've gone over all of this stuff over here. I am going to actually go into the platform and show you this, but I do want to show you the this is how you do it from your company page. So okay, so down here, and I wasn't able to screenshot all of the stuff down here, so that's why I'm going to show you this from an event page in just a minute. So in here, this is from my personal business page. You go through the same things. What you need to know, number one, is you can put an external event here. So your external event link would be, I'm sure you guys all to get here, probably most of you signed up for Melissa's Lead Gen Masterclass, right? Like the registration page where you filled out a form, that would be like the type of link that you would put there. You can do things like that on Eventbrite. Eventbrite allows you to collect email addresses, and it doesn't have to be like a fancy landing page or anything. You can do it through email providers, things like MailChimp, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, all of those types of things. They all allow you to create a little landing page. So you can do that. To me, that would be my preference for you collecting email addresses than having to take them from LinkedIn and upload them to your email service provider, right? Because doing that, there's a delay. And when people sign up for something, they want instant gratification. They want that email that goes out to them automatically that says you're confirmed, you're in, here are the details, all of that kind of stuff. So I would always rather see that. Putting a link to the external event as opposed to collecting them through there. If you are going to use a LinkedIn registration form, you would check this box here. You have to have a privacy policy to use a LinkedIn registration form. So if you do not have a website with a privacy policy or some type of suitable alternative, which I don't think there's going to be anything that's suitable except an actual privacy policy on your website, you can't use the email collection thing on LinkedIn. You have to have it. It's just one of those things. Collecting email addresses is a very, it's very highly guarded on all of the different platforms that you can collect email addresses on. So it's something you got to have. And if you don't have it, it's okay. Go get MailChimp, go get something like that where you can get people to sign up. MailChimp has a free account. So go sign up for something like that and don't worry about this. So any questions so far about
Jackie,
this?
For what it's worth, I have the same situation as Brittany. I just thought I would go and check mine and see what it did. Same thing. As soon as I put in my company page, the format option goes away.
Okay. Well, then what that means, and I think I actually saw that on mine, is you can't run audio events through there. You can definitely
do lives
because you connect your company page. So if you go into your destinations and you connect your company page, you can go live that way.
Yeah.
So so then, for the company page, I guess what you're going to be doing is just creating a static event. I am not a fan of creating events on company pages. I'm just going to put it out there. I think you should create them on your personal page. I have told you guys that it is extremely difficult to grow a following on a company page. So, if you're getting started, create them on your personal page to get started, start getting your audience, to know, like, and trust you. Then start growing your company page on the side and start promoting that on your personal page. Once the people have learned to know, like, and trust you, start trying to get follows on your company page that way. Growing a company page is just exponentially more difficult. And what I'm sure all of you guys are trying to do right now is make money, right? And if you're looking to make money, stick with your personal page and you're just going to have better results. What do you guys think about that? Does that make sense? I mean, it's just, And when you know that you can go somewhere else and create a quick page where people can put their email address in, collecting email addresses on LinkedIn, to me, it doesn't even look that, it's not that appealing, because they don't get that instant gratification of the autoresponder email back to them. And you are going to have to remember, probably daily or every other day or something like that, to download the list and upload it and download and upload it. If you want to get fancy, there's tools like Zapier that you can probably use to hook that up to your email service provider, but that's going to be super techy. So if you're not techie, you don't even want to go that route. Okay, I do have a checklist on here for creating events and what you're going to want to do for them. I won't go through all of that because you guys can just see that, but we'll come back here because I know some of you guys do want to see me do this. Oh, look, here's Brittany. This is Brittany. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the Burnout to All Out page and create an event. So on a business page, you actually come down here to create an event. So, and you're right, it doesn't have the different types of things here. So I didn't even notice that when I was doing it, but it doesn't have audio. So audio events are definitely not something that you can use on your company page right now. So we just want to go in here and, you know, put the name in here, put the time in here, and, you know, you can actually get rid of the end date if you don't want to put that in here. Because, you know, sometimes if you're doing things, it might be an hour and a half, it might be 2 hours. You don't really want to commit. Don't put it there. Your external event link, that would be like your link to the registration page that you've set up outside. You don't have to have it. You probably, I have put a Zoom link in here before. If it makes you put something in it, you know, you could actually, you can link to just about anything in here, but if you can, like, make a registration page on MailChimp, ConvertKit, your website, something like that, where people can put their email addresses in. That's the best case scenario. If you can't, don't worry about it and keep going. This is where you would use the LinkedIn registration form, and you have to put the privacy policy link in. You cannot customize what the LinkedIn registration form picks up. So if we, you know, like the fields that it has on it, and it does have quite a bit of fields, they have to fill all of those out. Like, it's not something, you know, in your email system, you can put name, email address, and that's it. That's all they have to fill out. You can't predetermine what's in a LinkedIn registration form. So I think that's another drawback too. So we're going to uncheck that. And then description, we'll put a description in here. Let's see if we have to have this in here. And then if I was going to put a speaker, I would put one in there. Okay, so it looks like we have to put a link in here. Just put that. I'm probably going to have to write a lot more, which is why, and I probably have to upload an image. I'm not going to fill all of this stuff out for you guys tonight because I know we're at time and it's getting ready to go. Just play around with this. If you have trouble with it, ask me about it. Take screenshots, put them in the feed, and we'll get through it. Shamina, yes. Yeah, you have a question?
Is there an option to do a recurring event?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Got to do them one at a time. So if we go back to Melissa's regular page and we go to create an event here, this is where we will select the event format. So this is where you can do your audio events. This is where you have all of that information. And it really is, I'm telling you guys, just fill out all of this stuff. When everything is filled out, the next button will turn blue and then you just go to the next page. That's it. There's really not a whole lot more to it. Does anyone have any more questions? I have talked enormously tonight. Sarah, yes.
All right, a quick question, and I might have said it, but
it's fine.
The kids after. If we just want to like do a live, we have to create an event too, or this is something like an event, something separate?
If you just want to do a live,
like just through Restream when we want to just upload and do a live.
you don't have to create an event. It is
Okay.
not required. No, I think you
Okay.
should if you can, but you don't have to. No,
Okay.
you only have to create an event for audio events because that's how you run the audio event.
Okay. Or like opportunity videos and things like that that you were saying.
Yep. I mean, I think it's good if you create an event so you can promote it, you know, and invite people to it and share it into your feed. I think it's good
Okay.
to do.
Okay.
If you have the time. I'm telling you, after you've created an event once or twice, it's going to become super easy for you. And it's just going to become something that you can kind of race through.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, we will end this here. I want you guys all on the Brad and Lisa. Yeah,
Sorry,
I'll
just
ask you.
really quick.
Yeah.
On what Sarah was saying. So when I was talking about doing, you know, short 2 and 3 minute lives in place of a static post, they're the kind of things that you wouldn't really create.
I probably wouldn't create an event for everyone. That'd be too tedious. Yeah. But like for your foundational lives, like the ones that you think are going to get the most traction, that's when I would create an event
weekly event kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
And you can have reach without using events. Like you definitely can. But if you can get into the habit of using them, it's better. It just is, you know, you're going to be able to invite people. You're going to be able to have that conversation. There's a built-in add to calendar button. You know, there's just so many reasons why you would want to do it that you should get into the habit of doing it if you can. So I want all of you guys on the last page of your workbook. It's a make a plan. And I would love for all of you guys to make a plan for when you're going to go live, when you're going to go do an audio event. Like set a date for yourself, put it on the calendar and work towards it. And I would like you guys to share it. Share it in the Facebook group, share it in the Messenger thread, and let us know, because some of the best ways to actually do things is to be accountable for it. Like say it out loud. Go say it in the Messenger thread. Like I commit to doing a live, you know, by the end of August, or like give it a date, like August 31st, I'm going to do it. It's just good for accountability. This group we have a fantastic community, and I think all of you guys should use it. So use it for the accountability, use it for the feedback that you can get. Go in there and try to do all of these things. Even if you think that you're not techie, I bet you'll be able to do it. And I bet if you get stuck, somebody's going to be able to help you get through it. So just try, right? The people that are successful in online business and really in anything are the people that do it. They're the people that stop with the excuses and just try and do it, and they go forward. Not perfect. Progress over perfection, right? All right, guys. Well, I overloaded you, but I hope that you guys took some stuff away from this. This is going to be available in Kajabi for you guys, your training vault or whatever we want to call it. I will upload that probably tomorrow because it's getting late here. And you have a workbook. You'll have the slide deck. You'll have all of these things. So just take the pieces that you need and just commit to taking small action every day. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Jackie.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Jackie, real quick, I just popped something in there. So when you say you'll load it in the training modules, which section will you?
Both. It's going to be under content in both the network marketing and the online entrepreneur.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. I'll link directly to it when I tell you guys about it too.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. This is really good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.